Some studies have shown that taurine can extend the lifespan of mice by up to 12%. But do these benefits of taurine also apply to humans? Hi, I'm Deborah from Healthnews, and today I'll look over available research on taurine to see if it's truly the magic key to a long and healthy life, as some longevity experts claim it to be. Now, before we take a closer look into the effects of taurine, it's important to understand what it is. Taurine is classified as an amino sulfonic acid due to its sulfur content, which sets it apart from other amino acids. Sulfur is the third most abundant mineral in the human body by weight and plays several critical roles, including DNA synthesis and repair and protecting cells from damage. Unlike other amino acids that bind with peptides and proteins, taurine remains free, enabling it to function as an antioxidant and participate in osmoregulation. This helps the body maintain proper fluid and electrolyte balance. Additionally, taurine can potentially reduce inflammation. Chronic inflammation is linked to various diseases, including rheumatoid arthritis, heart disease, asthma, and even depression. Therefore, keeping inflammation levels low is essential for long and healthy life. It's also worth noting that taurine is classified as a semi-essential amino acid. Humans can synthesize taurine, but this synthesis depends on external sources. These external sources include familiar foods like meat, shellfish, and dairy products from which we can absorb taurine directly through our intestinal tract. While we have been aware of taurine for quite some time, it started making the biggest headlines in 2023. In June of the same year, scientists published a major study in a prestigious medical journal, science.org, claiming that taurine deficiency is a driver of aging. In mice, monkeys, and humans, taurine concentration in blood tends to decline with time. To see if this decline contributes to aging, the scientists fed mice with a taurine supplement. The results were pretty straightforward. Mice that received additional taurine in their diet lived 10 to 12% longer than those that didn't. But as we all know, it's not just how long we live that matters. We all wish to have as many healthy years as possible. And the scientists investigated the health of the tested mice too. The results were really encouraging. The middle-aged mice that received taurine had improved bone, muscle, pancreas, brain, fat, gut, immune system functioning. Together, these factors indicate an improved health span. But how does taurine work, and what are the mechanisms behind the positive impact on aging? Firstly, taurine seems to reduce cellular senescence. Cellular senescence is a phenomenon caused by stress and damage of cells that stops them from growth and healthy functioning. Over time, this can result in reduced tissue repair and regeneration, and in fact, some studies even show that, at least in mice, cellular senescence is a driving factor in aging and age-related diseases. Taurine has also been found to suppress mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria, also known as the powerhouses of cells, produce most of the energy that our body needs. It has been observed that mitochondrial function declines with age. Scientists hypothesize that this decline contributes to age-related changes in our bodies, including poor physical function and reduced muscle mass. Therefore, maintaining proper mitochondrial function is highly important for longevity. Finally, the same study showed that taurine may reduce inflammation and decrease DNA damage. As we know, DNA carries genetic information, and preserving it is crucial for sustaining life. And while our bodies are generally pretty good at repairing DNA, these mechanisms can sometimes fail. This failure could potentially result in cancer, immunological development effects, and other diseases. Sounds like taurine could be responsible for many factors of longevity. Don't you agree? The research team that published the GRANT study in 2023 also wanted to see if these positive effects apply across different species. So they tested taurine supplementation on yeast and worms. And while the yeast didn't show any improvement, the longevity of worms has increased by 10 to 23%. Similar positive effects I've mentioned earlier were also observed in monkeys. After being fed taurine, they gained less weight, they had higher bone density, lower fasting glucose levels, and decreased markers for liver damage and molecular damage. But what about humans? To answer this question, The scientists have performed an association analysis of metabolite clinical risk factors in humans. These factors include abdominal obesity, hypertension, inflammation, and the occurrence of type 2 diabetes. The researchers' findings propose that lower levels of taurine, hypotaurine, and N-acetyltaurine contributed to an undesirable increase in these factors. Or in other words, lower levels of taurine could likely be associated with higher abdominal obesity, hypertension, inflammation, and even increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. While more research is necessary for taurine's definitive effect on longevity, we do have data about dosage. Human studies have established 3,000 milligrams a day to be a safe level. Higher doses have been tested in other trials. However, more data is required in terms of safety and long-term use. There are three main sources of taurine for humans: food, supplements, and energy drinks. These drinks may contain anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams per can, but don't go chasing them just yet. The research warns that it may have some negative effects on our health. It has been shown that energy drinks have an adverse effect on brain development, especially in male teens and young adults. But more research is needed to fully understand these risks. Keep in mind that such data does not specifically tell us that it's taurine that causes the ill effects. Energy drinks contain various ingredients in very high doses, so it might be a combination of those. Taurine itself is generally recognized as safe, but should you take it? There are a couple of things to keep in mind when considering taurine supplements. First, taurine concentration in blood reduces with age. So, supplementation might only be required and effective in older individuals. Another thing to consider is your diet. While your vegan friend may be taking taurine supplements daily, if you eat meat regularly, your body might not require supplementation. It's not recommended using taurine supplements if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, as the evidence of safety in these situations is too limited. And finally, taurine can interact with certain drugs. One of them is metoprolol, used for lowering blood pressure. So, if you're taking this or any other medications, have any health conditions or disorders, as usual, consult your doctor before taking on a new supplement. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've learned a lot about taurine today. If you're interested in other longevity studies, be sure to check out the video on animal versus human studies on longevity. Also, if you want to learn more about antioxidants, we have an excellent informational video on that topic too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay updated with our latest content.